So we're just starting the food tour down in the back corner with the bananas. This is the dwarf cav. Now the fruit I did have on it snapped off and we took it down and hung it under our veranda and it ripened very quickly. So we ate what we could and have been making banana bread with the rest. Very delicious though. So it's looking pretty healthy since then. We've got a couple of new pups and we've got our dwarf red ducker. Again, healthy new growth, a couple of pups. I think I'll need to take 2 pups out of this at some point. So you see, we've got one just here. And, well actually, more than that, we've got 2 here, we've got another one here, and then another one here. So, actually more than I thought. So, I'll let them grow a little bit bigger and then we will cut them out. No fruit as yet. I've heard that red duckers take a while to fruit and possibly may not in my area. So I really like the look of them anyways, with the nice red trunks on them. Some new one there. It's like pretty big. Doing pretty good. Some melons. I can't even tell you what kind of melon it is because my dog has taken the names away, but I suppose when they start ripening I'll know. And then we have apples, and I believe the sweet potato has actually covered up the names. It's the dwarf pixie or crimson pink. No, that's the dwarf pixie. So we have some apples on here. I probably should thin them out. I've had some birds come in and start eating them, so you can see some, oh, this one's just fallen off, so that's easy. You can see some damage on it. I haven't been too worried about netting them this year because I wasn't expecting too much fruit, so I'm just gonna see how it goes, not bother netting it. And if the birds get to it, they get to it. We've got a little bit more damage there, but we still have some that have no damage, so we'll see. And this one is the Crimson Crisp. Again, we have some damage from the birds. I've actually taken a couple off that the birds have damaged, but I'm trying to distract them from the 2 I have here. So I'll leave the other fruit on and hope the birds go for them. Next year I'll probably net them. And we might as well go to the next banana, which is the blue Java. Again, like I've said in previous videos, grows vigorously. I have 2 or 3 pups I need to remove from this, but on Christmas Day, we found that it has fruited. So that's pretty cool. This tree is just only a year old. So I have said in previous videos I didn't want to grow any more of these because of the lean they end up on. But if you're not worried about that, this would be a good variety to grow because it's just grown vigorously, within 12 months has fruited. So my mum actually has the same one, and hers, she has strapped them all together and they've grown more upright. And since I've removed the pups, I have to say they're not leaning as much, but as you can see, I've had to prop the stem that has the flower on it due to the weight. So not a huge deal. If you've got the room, definitely one to grab, like if you want fruit early. And just some more melons. Again, don't know what they are because of the dog. I'll have to maybe name them a bit better next time. With these little stakes I've got from Temu, they stab into the ground so my dog can't remove them. And they're pretty cheap, so. And this is the Bangkok apple guava. No fruit, but growing lots of new growth. And this one is the Navel Washington orange. Now this is one I've shown you in previous ones that had a lot of scale. Now I've removed all the scale, got rid of that. I actually scraped it off by hand with a plastic razor blade, and that seemed to do the trick. And then since then I have put some tree guard around it to stop the ants getting up it, and as you can see, it's getting some new growth. I've also fertilized it and put some cowpeas around it to help with nitrogen. And another melon. This one is an Eon door melon, and it actually has got a couple of melons on here. Pretty sure I've seen a couple more, but there's just so many melons in the yard at the moment. I could be thinking of another one. This is a pink supreme guava. Again, no fruit, but lots of new growth. An abundance of chilies on our 3 to 4 year old bird's eye chili plant that my son brought. Now, this is my new addition. I had my Eureka lemon here that was absolutely covered in scale. Like, I totally missed that. When I was scraping off the scale, the branches were actually yellow, so it was really badly affected. And what I did was chopped it off. Like, if this was the original plant, I actually chopped it just above, so the rootstock ends here. I actually just chopped it here and left nothing. And I'll show you in a little bit that it has regrown after I've dug it out and replaced it with this one. Now, this is a Eureka lemon, variegated. So obviously leaves are variegated. And apparently inside of the fruit is pink. So that will be pretty cool. We've got a little bit of citrus leaf minor damage. I haven't really kept up with spraying the kaolin clay, but we'll be getting onto that. We've got some variegated capsicums. These are all just volunteers. I thought the plant had died, but apparently some of the fruit that I had just dropped down. This one is a chili. Don't know which one. Again, it's a, well, there's actually two there, so I probably should separate them, but I'm actually going to let them go because they've just been randomly planted so that they didn't die. And this is a jalapeno chili, again, a couple of years old, still going. And I think this is a volunteer pumpkin, which is doing not too bad. This was one of the, this looks like it could be a rock melon. So this is one I've actually planted. But it's doing okay. It's having to compete with the volunteer pumpkins, which are plenty. And up the back here, this is my blood orange. It's getting a little bit of new growth, but still not looking great. I have done everything I can to fertilize it and pamper it, so we'll just, like I've said before, just see how this season goes. Now, this big pumpkin was a volunteer from a compost bin that I removed, and obviously there was still some seed in there, and it's just gone mad. This is all one plant. We've got plenty of pumpkins. We've got some big ones down here. Probably in the video it doesn't do it justice, but they're really big. There's another one just here. And the base of the plant is actually just in there, but it's really decided it likes this food for us. It actually goes right up to that shade. Raspberry, not looking greatest, but not much you can do in this weather apart from shade it out a bit, but I'm hoping once the food forest develops more, it will be a little healthier. I'll try and get up the back here through the pumpkin to my Eureka lemon that I cut down. So you can see where I cut it off right there, and it's got all this new growth, which looked a lot healthier than it does now. And citrus leaf, mine is caning it. Again, need to spray it, but that's a pretty vigorous growth since I cut it. I was actually expecting it to die, which is why I cut it. And in amongst here, we've got some comfrey, there's some lavender buried back here, some sage, but part of the food forest experience is, for me anyway, is just letting things go a bit. And we have it's a yellow cherry guava. We've got lots of fruit producing. So we'll see how that goes. It's enjoyed having this nasturtium around it, but the nasturtium obviously isn't liking our heat. We've been getting some pretty severe heat here, so I'm just letting it go. What lives, lives, what dies, dies, apart from fruit trees, which I try to look after a bit better during the heat. And we have a Thai guava here. It's hard to get into because of these pumpkins. As you can see, it's again not fruiting, but nice growth. And I have planted a artichoke, which wasn't liking the sun either, but the pumpkin has actually provided it some shelter. So, and another variegated capsicum. As you can see, the capsicums are variegated. So, pretty cool. This is a Tangelo. Still not looking the greatest. It's pushing out lots of new growth, but they're like pin leaves, and as you can see, just fall off. I have given it some fertilizer, I've given it manure, done everything I could. Again, I'll just see how the season pans out. Also planted some cowpeas around it for the nitrogen. And then mulberry's doing well, not fruiting, but it did have some fruit on it earlier this year. We have a boysenberry up the back there. Again, not liking the sun too much. And a gooseberry just here, which is, I think, also liking the pumpkin, giving it some shade. We have some more pumpkin fruit just in there. We've got the red pineapple. Be waiting years for that one, but it'll be worth the wait. Finger lime also had a bit of scale on it, so gave it a trim back, put the tree guard around it, the bottom, and that has prevented the ants getting back on it. We have another melon here. I'm not entirely sure which one it is either. We have a lemon basil in here as well. I sprinkled some seeds around last year, so I haven't had as many pop up as I would have liked, but it's better than nothing. And as you can see, the capsicums we plant don't last very long because of these people. But you know, it is what it is. Almond doing really well. Still have one almond that I have found, but to be honest, I haven't really gone through the tree that thoroughly, so it could be more. Nectarine has finally decided to start throwing some leaves, so looking pretty good. I just noticed I've got tree guard on here, but we have ants. So I'm going to have a look at that today and see how they're getting up onto the tree. Quite possible they are moving from the elderberry over because the leaves are touching. They're pretty sneaky with how they get on. Also could be from touching the stakes, the elderberry. So it might be a matter of either moving the elderberry or putting some more tree guard on it. And then we have the Hawaiian guava. No fruit, but nice growth. Some strawberries we never get to eat because the dogs always take them. But I don't mind. Got strawberry guava. No fruit, but healthy enough tree. Sweet potato is going really mad and I love the look of it. So hopefully next year it'll almost be covering the entire garden and protecting it from the sun. Have another red ducker here that I have transplanted as a pot. Probably should cut these leaves off. It'll take a while for the main pop to sort of come back, but it has actually thrown a couple of pops already, so that's good. We have another yellow cherry guava. Pepinos. Now I've had to actually cover my mangoes and avocados over the top as well because the sun has just been that brutal. So and this is the Hass avocado, looking pretty good. Then we got the Parma mango, which is, it is shooting new shoots. If I can get this down in here. But it's actually developing from underneath the graft, so I will be cutting them off. I actually have the same on the avocado Hass as well. And then we've got the bacon avocado, which was looking luscious, and the reason I covered them was it got crispy. You can see the leaves on the bottom, on the ground there. So it got really crispy from our sun, but as you can see that there's new growth now that it's being cut. So we'll just persevere with having them covered. I haven't covered the Parma mango because I ran out of shade cloth, but I've just ordered some 50% shade cloth because this is actually 70%, which is a bit too thick, and especially seeing that I'm actually covering the tops now, I'm going to go and replace it all with 50% to make sure that it gets enough light. So we've actually put these extension onto our trellises. These are just temporary fences that builders use. I think these ones might have been like $42. They're 1.2 meters wide, 2.4 meters high. The bigger one, I think, was about 50, 60, which is, I believe, 2.4 wide, and then just another smaller one. So what we did is to keep them upright, because obviously with a bit of wind could act as a sail, is we got some steel pickets and grinded them down so they would fit in here, and then had them come up so high, then banged them in the ground. So if you want a cheapish, not free, but cheapish trellis, I think this was like a pretty good idea. So we got the kiwi berry, which I've actually been shade clothing as well because the sun has been crazy. We've got a cucumber there, which we've been getting an abundance of cucumbers from. Been pickling most of them because I can't eat as many as it's putting out. Leaves are looking a bit shoddy, but overall, yeah, there's one just here. Overall, it's doing pretty well. We've planted some more melons as well for the trellis. And we got the blueberries, which weren't looking great when we put them in the ground, if you've seen my blueberry video. So I filled this trench up with blueberry mix, and they're looking a lot better than they did. And we have nashi pears, more pepinos. I don't know anything about nashi pears. Leaves aren't looking great. I'm not sure if that's sun or if I should be treating it for something. But if you know, leave a comment. We've put in some nasturtiums to hope creep around. And these two were the worst of the blueberries. As you can see, they're not looking great, but I just figured if they do survive, they survive. If they don't, they don't. And lucky last, I've actually extended the food forest. So at some point it will come down to here, like here, and there will be wood chips, not lawn. But I decided to buy some papaya. So we're kind of scratching around the yard in the front and back, trying to figure out where we were going to put the papaya. And what do you know, ended up moving the food forest closer to the house. So yeah, we've got 2 of these, which are meant to be bisexual red papayas. And I really like the look of the broadleaf papaya, which I couldn't find anywhere, and finally found one. So this is the broadleaf papaya. We've got some new growth in there. It didn't look the best when I first got it, but it hasn't died, so gotta take the positives. So I'm really looking forward to this broadleaf papaya growing, but in hopes of when I'm sitting on my veranda, that will be my view, and I'll have this beautiful broadleaf papaya there with the 2 smaller leaf ones to the side. So here I've just added some tomatoes and beneficial insect mix to climb up this wall, hoping to try and reduce the heat in the room, but also making use of any space we've got. These little black brackets I got from Temu. They were like, I think like $6 for 6 or something. They weren't that expensive and they're doing the job really well. I've actually used them for melons as well out the front, which I can show you in another tour. So tomatoes aren't doing too bad. They do get quite hot, especially you can see this one here, the leaves have actually turned upside down. So the brick wall is getting really warm, but I didn't put them here to get fruit from them really, so any fruit we do get will be a bonus. This tomato here, I have no idea what is going on with this one. It's just so much bigger than all the others. It's just doing great. And got nice little fruits out there. Nice little one down here. But it's loving that spot for some reason. It does get more shade than the others, but even this one here, it's gets the same amount of shade, but hasn't quite developed as well. And again over here, I've done the same thing again. These were actually volunteers from the compost pile where the giant pumpkin came from. So I do have tomatoes planted out the front that I will be getting tomatoes from. So if these ones do fruit, great, but if not, not a big deal. Again, use the Temu hooks. So the black part, these I got from an aquaponics store in Canning Vale. You just bury the string underneath the plant when you plant the plant. Now, I forgot to do that, so I've had to use stakes, which work as well. But if you do just tie a knot in it like this and then plant it underneath the plant, the roots will hold it in place, which will be a lot easier than the stakes. So they look pretty good. I've got some lemon basil and in between some echinacea. Ideally, this bed will all be pretty much echinacea. The echinacea isn't getting much sun, but beneficial insect mixes along here, a couple of tomatoes. Down here further we have some spinach. I did plant some silver beet along here, some just seeds direct sown, but snails or something got into them. And down this end here we've got pet grass for that one up there. So he doesn't eat everything, because he does anyways, but he came along yesterday and sniffed this but didn't actually eat it. So yeah, we'll see if he decides he might eat that. And here we have a mushroom plant, which is looking a bit sad. Transplanted out of a pot and it didn't really get looked after, but it does have some little growth here. Probably could do with a trim. May do that at some point. Sage as well, which was looking a lot healthier when I put it in, but I think there's a lot of snails around here, so I think either that or caterpillars have been getting to it. And also just beneficial insect mix in here. So quick look at the pond with our sweet potato, and we've got Queensland arrow, watercress, gotu kola, lemongrass, catmint. It's all sort of all planted basically to give the pond some shade. And you can see the watercresses really weren't liking the sun, and it didn't last year either. So it's the 2 summers that I've had it in the pond, and grandkids have thrown toys in here. But pond is healthy, fish are healthy. We have a couple of goldfish that were given to us, but ideally it's just been little pygmy perches and I can't remember the name of my son, minnows or something maybe, I'm not really sure. But yeah, all doing pretty good. And then over here, my husband has planted some aloe vera with just some cactuses, which may get moved. We have a prairie coneflower, which is a really pretty flower, and insects really love it. So I planted a few of them around. We have some more pineapple. These ones were grown from the heads of a pineapple. These ones here are actually brought from aquaponics store in Canning Vale also. So these ones are only just being planted. This one here is from the head of a pineapple, some more aloe vera, another one brought from the shop, and another one grown from the head of a pineapple, some rosemary. So that is the tour of the food forest for now. Not a lot to write home about fruiting wise, but that's to be expected when you're first starting out. And bananas seem to be doing well, and the apples, I'll get some apples if the birds stay away, but like I said, I'm not going to bother netting them this year. I would rather them just get some growth into them anyways, so next year I'll definitely net them. I apologise for my dog. Wait. Anyway, thanks for coming along with me on the food tour. And the next one I'll do out the front, which not a lot is happening out there, but it's worth a look. Take it easy and thanks for watching.